Hi, Noelle. It's Aunt Jackie here again. I know this is a crazy angle, and one of these days I'm going to get an angle that works better. But here is a recipe for hummus, the one I promised you. Are you ready? Okay, here's what you're going to need. You're going to need a food processor. You're going to need a can of chickpeas and their juices, some tahini from Trader Joe's. I'm keeping it upside down and shaking it so it mixes well, just until I open it. You're going to need soy sauce, a little bit of olive oil, a green onion or a scallion, 1 clove of garlic, and salt and pepper. Okay, so let's get started. So, we're going to start with the scallion. I'm going to chop off the ends like I did in the last video. Only this time I'm going to just rough chop it. And I'm going to save some of these green ends because these are good for a garnish later on. So I'm going to put them aside. Okay. Take the top off of the food processor. And I'm going to pull it forward a little bit. So the first thing I want to do is just throw all these in here. And I'm going to take some of the garlic. Now, some people don't like it really garlicky. So, especially since I'm just doing one small can. Usually I do a big can, but with just Mark and I, it doesn't last long enough. We don't eat it fast enough. So I'm just making a smaller can. So with the smaller can, I think that I only am going to use half of the garlic, a little half of garlic like this. And I'm going to rough chop that a little bit, throw it in with the scallions, and I'll save this other one for dinner tonight. All right, so now I'm going to take my food processor, and I'm just going to pulse this a little bit. Oops, somebody's not in there correctly. This always happens, right? Ah, here we go. So just pulse up those, give them a little head start, the scallion and the garlic. So, and of course, push it back down so it is at the bottom of your food processor bowl so it can be combined. Okay, now the can of chickpeas. I'm going to open these chickpeas up. But one of the things I'm going to do, and this is important, this is the secret to creaminess, is I am pouring the juice, all the juice from this can of chickpeas into my measuring cup because I want all the juice separate, because I'm going to use it later to make this creamier. So now I'm going to toss in all my chickpeas. So you get them all out of there and no chickpea left behind. Okay, easy peasy. Now, there's not a lot of moisture in there, and there's just the onions and the garlic, so I'm going to pulse it just a little bit, kind of mix the onion and garlic. Okay, it's going to be not really smooth yet. I'm just giving it a little pre-process so that the onions and the garlic can get to know each other a little bit. Pulse it some more, let it run for a second or two. So, looking down at this, it looks very dry. Okay, it's not creamy at all. It's just kind of a rough, grainy sort of thing. And that's because we haven't added any of the things that are going to make it smooth. So, tahini. What I'm going to do is going to add this by spoonfuls. So let me grab a spoon. And because it's kind of like peanut butter, right? So maybe I'm going to do like 3 or 4 spoonfuls. And I'm just going to put it in here. So, I don't know, quarter, half a cup maybe. All right. Tahini's really messy and it's kind of goppy and gets all over the place. So you might want to have a spoon rest to put your dirty spoon down on, but just kind of get it all off of the spoon as best you can. Okay, so that's a pretty good amount. About half a cup, like I said. Now I'm going to just pulse that. So it's kind of mixing up. And it's making like a ball. It's very dry looking. So I am going to add just a little bit more tahini because the juicier part of the tahini is sort of at the bottom. So I'm just going to add a little bit more so I have enough. So that used up about, of this Trader Joe's jar, about 2/3 of the jar maybe. So that should do it. Get all this goodness off. My hands are clean. I've sanitized, COVID washed them, so no worries. It's good stuff. Okay, one more time. Pulse. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this liquid. Okay, this is the liquid from the chickpeas. And I'm going to add the liquid. So I added about half of the liquid. And just let it go. All right, so this is getting more consistency of what I want. It's still kind of really stiff. I like my hummus a little creamier. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and add the rest of it, or almost all of it. Not quite all of it. See if that improves it. Let's see what kind of, oh yeah. So now it's really creamy. Okay, so this is a good consistency. So we're going to add about a tablespoon or so of soy sauce. I'm not going to measure it because I can eyeball it, but it's about a tablespoon. And that's sort of to give it a salty flavor. I'm also going to add a big pinch of black pepper. So I want to give some flavor to this hummus, otherwise it's very bland. And I did forget one thing, of course. It wouldn't be me unless I forgot something. The juice of about half of a lemon, okay? So the juice from the lemon is going to give it a little, it's going to counteract the garlic a little bit, as well as add some extra flavor. So I'm just going to go ahead and juice this lemon right in there, because I want all the juice of the half lemon, both sides. And then when you're using one of these, you just push down and you flip it over. You loosen up the insides, and then you flip it over one more time, and you give it a good squeeze. Get all the juice out of it. Okay. And that should do it. Okay. All right, so that's what we've got in here now. So we're going to go ahead and mix that. Let's give that a process. Always start with a pulse, then let it rip. Okay, that looks really nice and creamy. So let me just show you how nice and creamy it is. It's falling off of the spoon. Here's the consistency. Now, I'm going to do a little taste test and see if I need to adjust seasonings. So, it's good. It needs a pinch of salt. Okay, I'm going to taste it again. It's a little more salt. And this is why you taste it. I know if you don't like a lot of salt, you should just use the soy sauce for the salt. Don't add anything extra. It's totally up to you, like how salty you want it to be. We like it a little bit salty here. As you know, Uncle Mark is a salt lover. So there, this is done. Okay, so I have here a container. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put this into the container. So that one small can of chickpeas made quite a bit of hummus. I mean, it fills this little tub up just perfectly. And this is just enough hummus for Mark and I to get through the next couple days, which we will use it as a sandwich spread, eat it with vegetables, etc., etc. Just yumminess. Okay, I think I got all of it, or most of it. And the only thing there is another ingredient you could add to this, and that is parsley. But I had no parsley today, so I just did it without. But if you do want to put the parsley in, just like a handful of parsley, put it in with the scallions and the garlic. Now, if you're going to serve this up, I'm going to show you how to make it the presentation really pretty. So what you're going to do is you're going to just take a spoonful, or however much you're planning on eating. I'm just going to make a small little serving here because I'm going to put this away. Then you're going to take a little bit of olive oil, make a little well, just a little bit, very heart healthy. And take your scallions, thinly slice a little bit of scallion, sprinkle it over the top, along with I just happen to have a little tomato from my garden, so I am going to grab one or two of these. So these are from my garden. So I'm just going to get a serrated knife, cut it into quarters, and then that gets sprinkled on the top as well. Okay, and there you have it. A little olive oil, a little scallion, and it's a perfect little dish to dip your pita bread or vegetable into. So that's it for today, Noelle. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.